I started the hike just after sunrise, when the air still carried that cool, heavy quiet the Appalachians are known for. The trailhead sign looked old, the kind of weathered wood that had been there longer than any of us, with the name half scraped away by moss and time. There weren't many cars in the gravel lot, just mine and a rusted pickup that looked like it hadn't moved in weeks. That should have been my first sign. The ranger's notes online said the trail wasn't popular anymore. Overgrown, minimal maintenance. Low traffic, they phrased it, like that was some kind of feature instead of a warning. But I wanted solitude. I'd been working non-stop for months, and the thought of being somewhere untouched sounded perfect. For the first hour, it was exactly that. Leaves whispered above me. The ground was soft and uneven, the dirt damp, smelling like rain even though the sky was clear. I didn't see anyone, not another hiker, not even a distant shape ahead of me. Just trees, miles and miles of trees, layered like curtains that swallowed the sound of my footsteps. After a while, the trail thinned into something that felt less like a marked path and more like a suggestion. Branches crossed the way. Roots jutted up like ribs through the soil. The deeper I went, the more the world around me changed. Not louder, not darker, just emptier, like everything had taken a step back. I kept going. About 2.5 miles in, the air shifted. It wasn't colder, but it felt heavier, thicker somehow. The birds that had been chirping fell silent all at once, like a switch. I stopped walking. The only sound left was the wind moving through the trees. Slow, careful. I told myself it was nothing. Animals quiet down sometimes. No big deal. But then I noticed something else. Ahead, maybe 50 yards off the trail, the trees opened into a small clearing. It wasn't marked on any map I'd studied. The ground there looked flatter, smoother, as if people had stood there recently. I should not have gone closer. But curiosity has a way of sounding reasonable in your own head. I stepped off the trail, moving slowly, brushing aside thin branches. The closer I got, the more uneasiness I felt. I saw what looked like a dug-up hole with loose dirt scattered around it. And that's when I saw him. He was standing on the far edge of the clearing holding a shovel. A man, just standing, staring at me in shock. His clothes didn't match the place or the time. Faded jacket, dark pants. Not old-fashioned, not modern, just out of place in a way I couldn't define. His posture was stiff, arms hanging straight at his sides, chin slightly lifted like he'd been standing there long before I arrived. I opened my mouth to say something. Nothing came out. He didn't speak. He didn't wave. He didn't acknowledge me, not in any normal way. But I knew he saw me. His face was impossible to make out. Fear gripped me. Then I realized something that made my skin tighten. Had I stumbled into the middle of a burial? He slowly began to move towards me as I took a couple of steps back. My heart was beating too loudly in my ears now. I could feel it in my hands, in my throat. I was just nervous. I turned to run but could not remember the path I came from. I didn't care. I ran anyways. Branches tore at my arms. Roots caught my boots. The world blurred into shades of green and brown and shadow. I didn't look back. I didn't want to know whether he was behind me. After what felt like forever, the sound of gravel crunched under my feet. The parking lot, the open sky, my car. I collapsed against the door, chest heaving, throat raw, and immediately got in. I drove away without looking back. I have never been able to shake that thought from my mind, and I still wonder what he was doing with a shovel deep in the woods. Psalm 91, 3-4 brings me comfort. It says, "For he will rescue you from every trap and protect you from deadly disease. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart." I went into the Appalachian Mountains planning for a simple day hike. The trail at the entrance looked harmless enough. Well-worn dirt, bright markers, a friendly sign reminding hikers to stay on the path. But with every step deeper into the woods, that reassurance began to thin. The markers grew farther apart, the sounds of civilization faded, and what once felt like friendly advice slowly revealed itself as a warning I should have taken far more seriously. Somewhere along the way, the trail thinned without me noticing. The markers stopped appearing. The ground turned uneven, roots twisting across the soil like ropes. The trees grew taller, thicker, and closer together. I told myself I was fine. I had water. I had a map downloaded. I just needed to turn back. But when I turned around, the trail didn't look like the same one I'd taken. No footprints, no broken twigs, nothing to prove I'd been there at all. I kept walking anyway, picking the path that looked the most right. The forest grew quieter the deeper I went. Not silent, just muted. The kind of quiet that makes you aware of your own breathing. I checked my phone. No signal, no GPS, just a frozen map I couldn't rely on. I tried retracing my steps again, but every direction looked the same. Ferns, fallen logs, damp soil, endless trees. I noticed I was walking in circles. The panic didn't come all at once. It arrived gradually, an understanding that I might have gone too far, that I had crossed some invisible line I wasn't supposed to. I called out once, but my voice did not echo. It just disappeared into the trees. I kept moving, slower now, choosing a direction and committing to it. Time slipped away. The sky dimmed. My legs burned. My throat felt dry. I sat on a fallen log and listened to the stillness, trying to convince myself the outside world still existed. Then, somewhere ahead, I heard something new. Footsteps. I stood up. "Hello?" I called out. For a few seconds there was no response. Then a man stepped out from between the trees. Mid-50s maybe, weathered face, work-worn jacket, and the kind of calm posture that only belongs to someone who spent their entire life off the grid. "You're off trail," he said, not unkindly, just matter of fact. No, I admitted. I've been trying to get back for hours. He studied me for a moment, then nodded toward a direction that, to me, looked no different than any other. This way. I followed him. He didn't talk much, just moved with quiet confidence, stepping across roots and slopes like he'd walked that route 1,000 times. There was no hesitation in him, no uncertainty, no checking bearings, no second guessing. He knew the Appalachian mountain. After maybe 20 minutes, the trees began to thin, the light brightened, the ground leveled out, and then, suddenly, a trail appeared, real, marked, worn down by countless boots. I hadn't even noticed when we crossed into it. He stopped at the edge and pointed. "Stick to this. It'll take you to a parking lot about 2 miles down." I thanked him, probably more than once. He just gave a small nod, the kind people give when they've done something ordinary, even if it doesn't feel ordinary to you. Before I could ask his name, he'd already turned back into the trees. Within seconds, he was gone, just another part of the landscape. I followed the trail until the forest finally gave way to a gravel lot and a weather-worn wooden sign. Nothing like the trailhead where I had started. I was miles away, yet overwhelmed with relief, because I was able to call a taxi and make it home safely. If that local hadn't seen me, I'm honestly not sure I would have made it out. The experience brought to mind Psalm 139, 7-14, a reminder that there is nowhere we can go where God is not already present. Even in unfamiliar places, even when darkness feels close, His hand still leads, and His presence still holds us. I walked away shaken, but grateful, aware once again that I am never truly alone, and that I am fearfully and wonderfully made, watched over even when I don't realize it.